Hello! It's that time again. We took a week off last week because reasons. That and we, every now and again be interested in, not that we don't love working here, but we take a little vacation to an island where we hunt the most dangerous game of all. Man. And then we come back and we're in a lot better moods. This is Warp 9 on Wednesday, brought to you by Extra Secret Gaming and Warp 9 Comics, where we discuss a lot of cool stuff that came out in the comics and collectibles world. We give you our little bit of opinions, take for them what you will, and then, go to your local comic book shop or come here and spend some money. We'd love to stay open. So, I'm Dan. That's Tristan.
Hi.
And, let's kick this pig. Let's get this thing started. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Kick a pig?
I always say that. Let's kick this pig. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but that's what I do.
Well, I think we're going to
Give me that, Morty.
Oh. Did you call me Morty? Right.
Okay, Morty. So, you can get yourself a Rick and Morty portal gun for right around $15. It's super affordable, really cool, makes noise, lights up, and out these, three little things right here. Woo! The middle one shoots a portal on the wall, so you can literally transport yourself anywhere where you can be shitty on the internet to people. Just like a real Rick and Morty fan.
Woohoo!
I'm going out swinging today. Anyway, so it's a cool little collectible. We don't go crazy with the Rick and Morty stuff, but we will say that the comic, started out selling really well. The trades sell pretty well too. So if you haven't checked out the comic, make sure you go to your local comic book shop and check out the comic book. If you like Rick and Morty and you're always complaining that the episodes go too quickly, there's 6 or 7 volumes out there for you too. Then you can sit around with your portal gun and shoot it in the wall, it makes noises. It's all sorts of fun. It's only $15, which is really affordable. So check it out. Absolutely. So anyway, that'll be your Warp 9 Wednesday. Let's just shut this bitch down. No. Your portal gun Wednesday. So this is just a restock thing, but we haven't had it in a while, and I don't think I ever talked about it on the show because the show wasn't even a thing then when this first came out. It is the SH Figuarts Tamashii Nations exclusive Civil War Black Panther. Obviously, Black Panther is coming. The movie is, the pre-sale sold out quicker than any other Marvel movie, which is absolutely fantastic. But as far as Black Panther toys go, this is the one. This thing is unbelievable. I have seen it outside of the box. This one is sealed. But the previous one we had, the guy who bought it, he took it out of the box in the store, and we both kind of played with it a little bit. It was super fun. It was a nice little play date. I wish I could remember that guy's name. But anyway, the only caveat on this thing, though, because it is older, it is $150. Because, when they first came out, they retailed it right around $110 to $120. Now they've gone up. And especially with the Black Panther movie coming, it's one of those things of if you're going to get one now. Did we show the Marvel Legends Black Panther stuff last week? No, because we weren't around last week.
We weren't on last week.
Yeah, we had gotten some of the Marvel Legends stuff in. Unfortunately, we've already burned through that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know if we're getting any more. But, yeah, we had some of the Marvel Legends stuff. Really cool. The Killmonger figure was definitely popular, and the Black Panther, obviously. But as far as, Black Panther toys, to the nth degree, that's the one. SH Figuarts Tamashii Nations exclusive Civil War Black Panther. 150 bones. It could be yours. You can take it home, play with it, or invite a friend over and play with it, or you can get a Tristan of your own who'll just stand there and hold it in front of a camera for you. Whatever you want to do.
I charge $150 an hour. I gotta eat too, guys.
And that's pesos.
That's pesos. No, it's Canadian money.
The little T, the T stands for taco.
I'm Italian.
Am I supposed to do something with that?
It doesn't stand for taco.
Okay.
I'm Italian, not Hispanic.
You don't talk enough with your hands to be Italian.
You obviously don't work with me enough.
Not really. No. SH Figuarts? Continuing on with the SH Figuarts line from Bandai. New Dragon Ball Z figure. This is Yamcha. From what I understand, Yamcha's actually a pretty popular character, and if you don't have any of the Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts, what are you doing with your life? Because if you want to act out parts of the anime and things, these are the figures to do it, because you can do just about any pose. He comes with 4 different heads and 3 or 4 different sets of hands. I mean, it's serious business. It's right around $65, but you get your money's worth. It's the last Yamcha figure you ever got to buy until they make another one and we got to sell it to you. But so far I've actually had some people pretty interested in this guy, so we'll see. We got limited stock here. Otherwise, you can try to find one at your own local comic book shop. Otherwise, online retailers. But I will say this: If you are buying it online, be very, very careful. SH Figuarts and anything coming out from Bandai are heavily bootlegged, and I can tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says, the bootlegs suck. They may look the same, but I can tell you the joints won't last, things will fall apart, things don't go on together properly. And I know some people will be like, no, I got bootlegs all the time, nobody cares. Well, when you try to resell that thing later, and if you sell it to somebody, they find out it's a bootleg, they're going to be awfully pissed. I can just tell you that.
Yeah.
So, just buy the real ones. You'll thank me in the long run.
I had to explain that to somebody today. I was like, he's like, I bet I could find it cheaper online. I'm like,
yeah, probably.
Be very careful.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to bootleg because they suck.
Yeah, and when it comes to like pricing, obviously, we're a retail store and we're a small retail store. So for us, we have to pay kind of top dollar for everything. And then for these, they come in from Japan, so we end up paying a little bit more because of the shipping and all that stuff. So it can be kind of a headache, but we love them. And so far, all the Dragon Ball Z stuff with the SH Figuarts has always made people pretty happy because we had the dragons on here not too long ago, and we only got one left.
Yeah.
1 out of the 3. But it was Christmas time, people just needed a dragon in their life. It's just the way it is.
I said something along the lines of, like, sometimes dragons just don't go with your outfit to the lady at Salvation Army the other day. And she told me she was going to put that on a sign and tape it to the...
always go with your outfit.
Dragons don't go if you already have fairies.
I thought that was, like, all part of, like, the high fantasy thing, like...
Fantasy Fashion 101.
Fantasy Fashion 101. With Dan's obvious fashion, I have the certain je ne sais quoi, wearing the same Bullet Club hoodie in like the last 4 videos we've done.
I have an Indie Lolita dress that has nymphs on it. I would not carry my dragon parasol with that.
Well, now I gotta go. Now I gotta delete this video because you're using the word Lolita in it, and it's now probably considered child porn by YouTube. So that's fun. That's a good
Lolita
time.
fashion has nothing to do with the Lolita book. Moving on.
Anyway, just dropping that L word left and right, huh? I don't think you can say that.
It's a French word.
I don't think you can say that.
And it actually doesn't mean anything bad. It's
French word written by a Russian author.
Yeah, I know,
right? Wasn't that Nabokov or something like that? Anyway. Mafex. Man, we just grinding some gears on this one, man. There's like no flow to this at all.
Nope.
Anyway, but if you've tuned into this before, we are a complete train wreck. That's just the way this show works.
Train wreck, please. This is not your station.
Yep. Yeah, watch some of the previous episodes. I even did a Phoenix impression like 3 weeks ago. Anyway. So, Mafex. I got kind of a love-hate relationship with Mafex. I am not the biggest fan of them, I will be honest. They have been better, but for $50, sometimes their quality control is just not there. I have not seen the reviews on these yet, but the likeness is pretty good. It comes with a couple of different heads. She has lots of... Obviously, it's Wonder Woman. Should have brought that up from the movie. She's got a few different hands, a couple different heads, and lots of little the lasso, a couple different lassos, her sword, shield. So pretty cool. They try to make them as posable as SH Figuarts. I just feel like the Figuarts stuff are just better overall. But I've got some people who get the Mafex stuff and they love these more than anything. So I guess it just kind of depends on opinion. So that's why we still show them on the show, obviously. And plus, it's a new product, I got to show you guys what's available. It's just the way it is. So this guy will set you back right around $70. So yeah, you're paying for this one big time. Before they used to be $50, so they've definitely been raising the price. But at least they added a bunch of stuff. It looks like, especially for her, they added a lot more. And being based on a movie, you never know what the licensing agreement with Gal Gadot's people is. She gotta get hers, and I say absolutely, get yours, girl, get it, get that money, yeah, make it hail.
Hail.
Yeah, Dan in the strip club. I throw quarters instead of instead of dollars.
I was about to ask him, like, are you throwing change?
Yeah, exactly. It keeps them, you never know where they're coming from.
I never know where you're coming from.
Nobody does. So, it's time for a little bit of Hasbro action, but also I'm gonna be serving up some hot beef. So everyone get your skewers ready because I got a problem with Hasbro. But anyway, so we finally, after about 9 months ago when we first ordered these, the Star Wars 40th anniversary figures, we finally got Wave 2. Thank you, Hasbro, for gracing us with your presence for once. My main problem with these is this, okay? So we've got obviously Stormtrooper, Jawa, Death Star guy, C-3PO, and the Tusken Raider, which they call the Sand People in here because that's what it was called back in the 70s.
Death Squad Commander.
So here's my problem with this. Okay, you have, and we had Chewbacca, but unfortunately the Chewbaccas have already sold out. So obviously you have Chewbacca, C-3PO, even the Tusken Raider, characters that people would really want, Chewbacca especially, okay? So when they do case breakdowns are usually by 8 figures. So what usually happens is they double up on either 1 or 2 figures. In this case, they doubled up on 2 figures. Now you would think in Hasbro's infinite wisdom, we should probably, make these so that these can move for retailers, so that they're not drowning in supplies that nobody wants, that end up sitting there on clearance racks everywhere, because, we would like to help them make money. Instead, what we get is 2 of this guy, who, I'm sorry, but nobody really cares, okay? And then 2 of the Jawa. Don't get me wrong, people like Jawas, but not 2 per case, okay? 2 per case should have been Chewbacca. But instead they do this because they want us to reorder and order more. But the funny thing is, when it comes to small retailers, we can't put in another order because it will just be canceled, or it'll show up 9 months later. So as much as I like these figures, because I love the cards, and I just think it's a cool little throwback, and they came in great condition, they're the straight cards and everything. The figures look nice. Yeah. I have no problems with anybody who made the figures. It's just I have a major problem with the way that they ship things to us. I have a major problems with the third-party distribution that we have to go through because we're not cool enough to have a Hasbro account, And then, obviously, my main problem has always been the repacks. At least this time it's not a repack. It's just they're not packing things in the way that they should. Yeah, so take for what you will. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, obviously, for toys. It really bothers us as retailers to the point of, sometimes we think, why should we carry your products if we're not going to make any money,
Exactly.
But $25 a piece, obviously, we have to charge more, we pay more. That's just the way it is. So
apparently my dad was a Jawa for his freshman year Halloween in college, and
I'm sorry he was so short.
He is my father.
I just figured maybe that came from your Hobbit side.
That is my Hobbit side.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother.
And you got some hairy feet then,
huh? My grandmother is 4'9". The hairy feet come from the Italian side.
Yeah, let's show those things on stream, huh? Ooh.
No. Actually, mine aren't bad.
We should set you up with a Tinder profile. It's just your hairy feet. That'll be the picture. It's
my
just
feet
your hairy
aren't
feet.
Actually hairy.
Here's the funny thing is
my brothers are. His are gross.
Your Tinder profile would probably blow the fuck up. It totally would, from just weirdos, man. Just
I already get enough weirdos that are 50-year-old men asking me to put on schoolgirl costumes for them. That's actually happened. I had a 56-year-old man ask me. No, not here, but at the mall.
Oh, at the mall.
I was sitting waiting for my friend to get out of the bathroom, and he came up next to me and asked me if I would put on a schoolgirl outfit for him. I nearly smacked him in the face and told him I was going to go get a police officer, and he ran away.
Was he wearing a trench coat?
Nope.
So those guys
he was wearing suspenders.
Suspenders, okay, even better. That's fantastic.
He had bright orange suspenders connected to his khakis.
Pervert guys, stop ruining suspenders for everybody else.
Seriously.
Good Lord, man. Jesus. Anyway, let's enough about your problems. We got Transformers.
Oh, we do have Transformers. I almost said
she thought we were out of stuff, but we were not. So we finally got our leader class Power of the Prime stuff. We've got Rodimus Prime, Optimus Prime. I mean, it's just prime-tastic. Unfortunately, we got charged a lot more for these. They raised the price on us, so for us, they're about $54.99 a piece. But they are large, man. They're bigger figures. Really cool. Obviously, you get the classic Optimus Prime with the trailer, but you also get Rodimus, who also has the trailer as well, which is super cool. So they did a nice job on these figures. I have not seen any reviews on them or anything, and I have not seen one outside of the box, but I can tell you, they look great.
You also get the Matrix in them.
The Matrix. Yes. The whole Matrix, including Neo. He's somewhere inside there. Is one yellow and one red? Yep.
Yeah.
Yellow Matrix.
Their chests actually open up so you can actually put it inside. It shows it on the back. So you can actually put it inside.
Oh, look at that.
So it's really cool. I've had quite a few people that are like, "That's so cool. I need to get this when I get paid."
And they don't get it.
Well, they haven't gotten paid yet. This came in earlier this week.
Came in
Monday.
2 days ago. Oh,
These came in Monday.
Yeah,
I signed for the package. I know. I opened
it. No, I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
That's your Transformers. So, anyway, moving on to comics. Let's kick stuff off with indie stuff.
Okay.
Not a whole lot today. You know, these last few weeks, starting off the first month of the year, I'm still expecting like a really heavy week, and it just hasn't happened yet. So, not a ton of stuff, because we talk about new stuff here. If you've never watched the show before, we tend to talk about new storylines and places for you to jump on. And then if it's something that we really liked, we'll obviously talk about it, being like, hey, they're killing it on this issue or whatever. The first thing that I thought was just kind of a very, kind of an important issue. It takes a look at what, if we continue down this path, as far as like politics go, fake news and this and that, and insulting people openly and all this other crap. The Steve Bannons of the world. This takes a look at the future, and I say Steve Bannon for a reason, because he's actually quoted on the first page of this thing. So it's a book called Days of Hate. It's done by L.S. Cott, drawn by Daniel. Is it Daniel? Daniel? I think that's a Czech name. Zelj, colored by the hardest working colorist in comics, Jordi Belair, lettered by Aditya Bidikar, and the design by Tom Muller. It takes a look at, there's more open hate groups out there. This is like the year 2030 something. There's more hate groups out there. More people are being radicalized. Just a lot of tension and things going wrong. The art is absolutely great for this book, because his style is a little bit more messy, and if you read Scalped, especially like towards the end of the run of Scalp, which was Jason Aaron's big Native American like epic thing, which was really great, it's the same artist as that. So really cool. It's only going to be 12 issues. I love that they've mapped it out for being like, hey, it's going to be this maxi series, we're going to tell our story and then we're going to get out of it. I will be honest, the Alice Cott was never the biggest fan. A lot of times it seems like the stuff gets a little bit just too out there for me. I like a little bit more cohesion. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not for me. This one seems like he's got they've got a story to tell, and they very much want to tell it, their way. Really impressed. So we only have about a handful left here at the store, but I'm sure you can track one down either at your local comic book shop or online. Days of Hate #1. Definitely check it out from Image Comics. Really enjoyed it so far. It's actually our pick of the week. Pick of the week. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's the pick of the week. Figure we need to go with something a little more indie.
I feel like we should note that this is rated M for mature.
Yeah, just like any Image stuff.
I feel like that's like...
Yeah, it's not for the kids. But I can be honest with you, though. It doesn't deal with anything that's... It deals with things that would just make parents probably uncomfortable, as far as like the politics and the radicalization. It's nothing like anything like, we're gonna cut this guy's head off and then fuck the stump or something. No, we only talk about stuff like that on this show. Rated M for mature. Anyway, also from Image Comics, what? You weren't here for that episode.
That was slightly uncomfortable.
It should be. It should be. Yeah. Speaking of uncomfortable. Image Comics. She's like dead eyes. The Further Adventures of Nick Wilson. This was... Sorry about that. Oh, jeez. Look at these names. Written by Eddie Gorodetsky and Mark Draco. Illustrated by Steven Sadowski. Colored by Hi-Fi Color and Design. Lettered by Larger World Studios. Edited by Shannon Eric Denton and all this other stuff. This, it's from Image Comics, so obviously it's going to be more of an indie feel, and it deals with the fact of this guy, Nick Wilson, was on top of the world. He was essentially like Superman. He had these great powers. He was living the rock star life, dating, women, saving the world every other weekend, but then his powers just up and poof, disappeared, and now he's just kind of being a guy, and it's about his fall from grace, and very much just now he just sits on his couch smoking weed, doing kids parties in his suit where they think that he's just a lookalike and he's actually really the guy. So it takes a look of, hey, you've had it all and now you have not anything, you have to go back to your normal life. What would you do? So it starts off a little slow. We don't get the full rundown of how he lost his powers or what he was doing beforehand or anything like that. It's meant to be a little bit more of a slow burn, but it is very well written, and the storyline so far has definitely got me a little intrigued. So, the further adventures of Nick Wilson as he sits on his couch and smokes weed.
Rated M for mature. Felt like I should say that because I just flipped through it and saw a few things and I was like, this is mature.
Yeah, no, that's a totally mature book for sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
Want to go to Marvel?
Sure. I shall start. I actually only read one book this week because there really wasn't a lot that caught my attention immediately. I am obnoxiously picky about what I read.
Unlike Dan, who just reads everything.
Basically. I read Champion this week. It's the start of a new storyline, which is Champion for a Day, Part 1.
They've decided to expand their lineup.
Yes. The idea kind of comes from the fact that if you aren't caught up, the original Viv, which is Vision's daughter, she died but was actually put into a human body. So now she's back
by
and
the what was his name? The Ultra Humanite, I think.
They like say it in here at some point.
I always forget that guy's name. I think it was the High Evolutionary. Sorry.
There we go.
Ultra Humanites in DC.
So she has started living with Viv 2.0, as they kind of mentioned her.
Oh, we skipped over that. So essentially what happened is the High Evolutionary made her into a real girl.
Yes.
So when made her into a real girl, she was in this dimension with the High Evolutionary, and what kind of happened was the Vision thought she was dead. So he decided to take a new synthezoid, I think is what they call themselves, and decided to take old memories from his deceased wife and then other backups and make a new Viv. So now you have Viv 2.0 and then you have Vivian, who is the human.
Yes.
And they're trying to be a family.
Which...
hilarity does not ensue.
No. One of the main things that really catches my interest with this one, first of all, the champions are trying to decide whether or not Vivian, human Viv, should join their group, and they're like, well, if she joins, we have this whole entire lineup of people we would like to join in, so they have to join as well.
Well, and the other thought is about her safety, because now she can no longer phase or get diamond hard. She's just basically human.
She has no obnoxious powers
She's not connected to the internet and all this information anymore. She's just a normal
and they kind of, the way they talk about how Vision and Viv 2.0 are handling the whole situation of having Vivian, they almost think and talk about her as if she's a disabled child.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting approach at it, and I really liked it, and so...
yeah, really, really well written, and it deals with a lot of different thoughts.
It's very well written.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see how it goes with their whole family dynamic and what they're planning on doing with that, and also, I'm extremely excited that they're adding more to the Champions lineup. Red Locust is, like, I love her.
Yeah,
She's
one of Mexico's greatest superheroes.
She's
Red
amazing,
Locust.
and I love her.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and she's, one of the best things about the Champions book is it brings a lot of positivity, and it brings a lot more fun into comics.
Yes.
They do have their serious notes, but it's meant to be their version of the Teen Titans, and I've said it before on the show, I want the Champions to exist forever.
Yes.
I think it's one of those books that I don't care if you got to change the lineup every now and again. I think it's that important because the Teen Titans have existed in DC in so many different iterations.
It's a young group of characters that are basically taking action in their world. They have a lot of lighthearted, younger kind of jokes, but at the same time they deal with real-world issues that they do it in such a way that isn't so much in your face.
But then they also get super excited about things too, where it's not just like everyday thing. Like, they asked Red Locust to join, and she's all like, "Oh yeah!"
She talks about like, I know how to cook, and I can do laundry, and I know how to babysit.
I can do whatever you need me to do.
Those things,
yeah,
but
it's pretty funny. They were like, we'd just rather you just superhero, which would be great, But
yeah,
it's really fun. Book.
This one was really good. If I can find the title page, we can.
Mark Waid was the writer. He's been the lead writer on that stuff. Umberto Ramos is doing the art, and Umberto Ramos is absolutely fantastic.
Oh my god, gorgeous.
He's really great at, especially with the way he does eyes. He's a little bit more Eastern influenced with some manga-ish, but Umberto Ramos has been around forever. Fun fact, Humberto Ramos is the first creator I ever met in person to have sign a book.
Nice.
When I was 17 years old, went to Motor City Comic Con for the weekend. He was one of the lead guys, him and Jeff Johns, who was sitting right next to him. But Jeff Johns' line was way too long, so I didn't stand in line for Jeff Johns. I had brought my DV8 comics. I hope somebody out there remembers the DV8 book, written by Warren Ellis with art by Humberto Ramos, back when Image was still doing superhero mainly stuff. And I had him sign that, and I was just like, I was so geeked because I had never met a creator before. You know, it's like that first time you ever meet like the big celebrity. You're like, oh my god, you drew this, man. Do you understand? You drew this. You do this. You drew this. Yeah, bro. I'll just sign it and get the fuck out of here. Thanks. He was really
like a
nice.
Teenage boy right there.
Yeah, he was hilarious. He was such a nice guy, man.
Yeah.
But I've met him several times. The inker was Victor Olazaba. Yeah, Olazaba. Colorist Edgar Delgado, and VC's Clayton Cowles did the lettering. So I love the Champions book. I think it's basically one of the better all ages books. I call it all ages. I know some parents would be like, it's a little too...
Technically teen plus.
I know. I really feel like 11 to 12, depending on maturity, could definitely handle this book for sure.
I've had quite a few parents that have like 9-year-olds that are at like senior and high school reading levels that have gotten this for their kids, and they love it for them.
Yeah,
so.
Kids nowadays, it seems like I'm starting to hear more and more about kids' higher reading levels, which is great. You know, that makes me very happy. But on the downside of that, though, parents are having trouble with their kids sitting down to read novels. That's where we come in. We're like, they'll read this.
Yeah.
It goes quick. They'll be happy. And next thing you know, they're here all the time, which is great.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Marvel stuff, we've talked about these books before, but I cannot put over these books enough. We have the Star Wars Forces of Destiny, another one-shot, but this deals with one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, the best pilot in the galaxy. Take that, everybody. Hera. Oh my god, I love Hera so much. Yeah, this is very much just a Hera adventure. She is helping this farm colony that has been taken over by the Empire. The Empire is trying to co-opt their grain. She wants the grain for the rebels, but she doesn't want to, get them in trouble. And it goes from there. So Hera and Chopper do their thing, sowing discontent. But, it's an all-ages book, so it's not like them coming out and shooting stuff and, blowing stuff up. It's more about them being like, okay, do this and make them frustrated. They'll get all upset and they'll just leave. And it's a great book, really great stuff. I'm a little concerned that they're just doing like these one shots. I'm hoping this is going to lead to something, like maybe an ongoing book, which I think would be great.
Please and thank you.
Just mainly aimed at young female fans. I think it is needed. It's selling well, which is funny because most of the one shots that are being picked up. We have a lot of people and members and customers who are coming in and buying them for their daughters, which is fantastic. I have no idea if they're reading them or enjoying them, but at least it is selling, which tells me that there is a market for this, there is an audience for this, and people are enjoying them. And I can't say enough good things about those books. And they sent us some promo stuff for that stuff. Did you see those? The little postcards? Yeah, it's just like the different characters that we were getting for all of these. I think the next one we're getting is Padme and Ahsoka. Yes. And Ahsoka is another one of my more favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. Yeah,
because we already got Leia, we got Rey, then it goes Hera, Padme and Ahsoka, and...
Rose and...
Rey?
No, we already got Rey.
No, it's Rose and her sister. What is her sister's name?
I forget her sister's name.
Oh, I said
Rose and Paige.
Paige.
Yeah, Paige, one of the heroes of the of the rebels. Well, the resistance, I guess you're gonna say. So this book, written by Devin Grayson, who, hey, welcome back, Devin Grayson. She was doing some books for quite a long time. She was like one of DC's heavy hitters. I think she's just been doing smaller stuff here and there. Artist was Eva Wiederman, colorist Monica Kubina, letterer Tom Long. So it's an all-female crew on that book, which is also fantastic. So
girl power,
more women in comics.
I do want to add one note. I am very much into the kind of cartoony-esque style, and I love the art in this book.
Well, with the eyes I did here, it's very Frank Cho-esque in my opinion. It's very, very good emotion, and the colors are
it's
fantastic.
Not too cartoony to where it's like, ugh, this is gross. But at the same time, it's still kind of got that lighthearted, bright cartoon like aspect about it.
Yeah, the color palette
it's just pretty and fun. I like it.
The color palette is definitely kid friendly, which is great. You know, you got to have those bright colors, and you got to have more simplistic boxes. They don't want to see a million and one different things. It gets confusing for the eye. So,
yep,
that's just me. So DC announced a while ago they're doing this new age of heroes stuff. I'm getting there. Chill. The new era of DC stuff. They're gonna focus a little bit more on the artists again. Obviously, with Jim Lee being the publisher, he's all like, "Hey, man, we should put these artists front and center." Which, hey, I'm all for it. Trying different stuff. Rebirth worked out really well for them. So one of the first books that we have in that line is going to be Damage. Damage has been around. Some people were asking us before, "Oh, it's the first appearance." Not the first appearance. It's the first appearance of that Damage. But there has been a different Damage. I think this is technically volume 2. Damage is very much DC's kind of version of the Incredible Hulk, only he's made in a laboratory and he's meant to be a soldier and dropped into war zones and then just wreck shop and go from there. The artwork is absolutely stunning, and they did this really cool thing where the front cover folds up and down. So eventually what this is meant to do is that if you buy 2 copies, you can cut the cover off, and then it's meant to be a big connecting variant for, I believe, the Terrifics or the Immortal Men. I think it might be the Immortal Men. So really cool. It's a different way of doing that instead of doing like a full pull-out poster. You know, they're just trying some different things with printing, which I think is pretty fun. So, but like I said, the artwork is absolutely stunning. The story was pretty fun, you know, but it's more about the art than it is about, you know, he's not going to be, you know, the next Batman or something, you know. That's not what the book is, and I am 100% okay with that.
I want his job. Just drop in the middle of everything. No, I want his job. Dropped in the middle of everything and just destroy it all.
Your storytellers were Tony Daniel and Robert Venditti. The inker was Danny Miki, who's been around forever. Tomio Mori was the colorist. The letterer was Tom Napolitano. The cover was done by Tony Daniel, Miki, and Mori. And yeah. So check it out. Something a little newer from DC. But I mean, everything with DC has been absolutely fantastic recently. So you can check out DC's Incredible Hulk. Last but not least is we've been talking a lot about Batman on this show, and the main reason is because it's just been absolutely fantastic. We obviously have the wedding coming between Batman and Catwoman. This is kind of a little bit more of a side story here. Essentially, it's still written by Tom King. What happens is you find out that Wonder Woman and Batman made a vow to this guy who he keeps our universe at like monsters from invading, and it's just like he's in this dimension where it's just always monsters all the time, and they told him if he ever needed a break that they would stand in his place in case he would ever need that. And he shows up and he tells them that he would like them to stand in for him. Well, so Catwoman finds this guy, you know, Batman and Wonder Woman go into this guy's place to fight the monsters. Catwoman takes this guy into New York and finds out that the guy's been gone for 3 years, and apparently he wants to see his wife again and explain to her what happened to him. Well, in that time frame, he explains that time moves differently in that other dimension, and that even though he's only been in our dimension for a day, that could potentially be almost a decade for where Wonder Woman and Batman are. So now they're in this situation where Batman and Wonder Woman figure out, like, hey, we might be here for almost forever because the time moves differently, and things get a little interesting. So it's got a very, like, holy crap kind of last page, but that's been pretty typical for a lot of the Tom King run in Batman. But it could have serious repercussions as far as what's going on with Batman in the future. So I will say no more than that. They knocked it out of the park again. Once again, Batman is by far one of our best-selling and just best put-together books, and we can't say enough good things about Batman. We have all the trade paperbacks in stock, but always got to mention Batman. So, obviously, like I said, Tom King was the writer. Joel Jones did the art. Jordi Belair, there's that name again, doing the colors. Clayton Cowles did the letters, and Mikel Yanin did the cover. There was a variant cover that was done by Olivier Coipel and Dave Stewart. So, yeah, definitely check out Batman. You don't need to know anything as far as like, the previous storylines. If you just want to grab that one and check out this story, all you need to know is that, Batman's probably getting married.
He's engaged.
Yes. So, anyway, though, you got anything else to say? Now's the time. Let them know.
You totally put me on the spot. I don't know.
Okay. That would be nothing then. You're good then? How are you as a person? Tell the people how you are. How was Tristan?
Very tired.
Tristan's
I did not
tired.
sleep last night at all.
It's a long day, too. I make her do the show after she worked all day, so.
I don't mind. I mean...
Very nice of you. So anyway, that is your Warp 9 wrap-up for this week, which is, 118, something like that, 2018?
Something like that.
After our week off, we came back with a vengeance. A vengeance.
Woo!
Vengeance. Anyway, yeah, if you got any questions, you can always email me at extraseekergaming@gmail.com. Otherwise, Extra Seeker Podcast will be recorded on Sunday. It should be up on Monday, which is the podcast you can find on iTunes. It's not really a sister thing to this. It's just a different thing that I do because I've got many irons in a fire. So, yeah, anyway, we'll be back next week.
In the fire.
Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
Adios, muchachos.
Bye. We'll be back next week with more cool stuff because that's what we do. Holla.